have mentioned many times, oh, the humidity, don't fog up the lens here. I have mentioned many times that I'm a list person. If it's not on the list, it's probably not going to get done. Well, today, as I put my list back in the truck, is a list day. Nothing but stuff on the list to do, because although the weather is beautiful, it's going to be in the 90s today with dense cloud cover, so no beating sun. Absolute perfect day for tractor work. But I don't have a tractor in my possession right now. I had to take that had to take the tractor to get a warranty repair on the fitting that goes into the power steering. It's a 90-degree hydraulic fitting, dual threaded with a jam nut washer and an O-ring, so that way you can screw it in, position it the way you want it, and then use the jam nut to lock it into place, and it won't hold pressure, just sprays everywhere. So I contacted Bad Boy about it, seeing if I can't get another one of those fittings and I can install it. And Bad Boy doesn't even have a part number for that fitting. They have to replace the entire hydraulic assembly, which was strange. So anyway, I took it in for warranty repair. The crappy thing about that is the Bad Boy dealer that's closest to me that could work on it, it's a half-hour away, and they said a 3 to 4 week lead time. Holy smokes, I can't be up for 3 to 4 weeks. So I called back to where I got it from, an hour and a half south of here, and they said 2 to 3 weeks. Ah, crap. So yesterday I drove an hour and a half to drop it off, which was fine because we went and visited some friends where we used to live, so that was okay. But that means today is a get stuff off the list kind of a day. The first item on the list has to do with this box blade. These attachment points, the category 1 pins, this one doesn't even have a spot to put a pin in to lock it, and it's bent. Now I've been using this for several days like this. That's all bent and needs to be replaced. Anytime you borrow something, you always return it in better condition in which you received it. So new category 1 pins on bottom, new top link pin, and new linch pins all the way around. So there you go. Ken, I very much appreciate you letting me use this. During my last couple video editing sessions, I've realized that I repeat myself a lot, and I don't mean to. It's just my focus is in so many different directions, and I record so sporadically, I don't even remember what I've recorded or not. I have all these conversations with different people about plans, but I don't remember my conversation with the camera. So anyway, if I repeat myself quite a bunch, I do apologize. I'll probably do it again right here. So they did adopt my electrical change plan, the electric company did. And power's coming in from that pole right here and gonna go across this berm, I guess you could say, this slope. It's not going to be in the ditch. They're going to put it up here just a little bit. I was under the impression that they're going to go in the driveway, but a little bit inside the driveway, because they said they're going to tear up the driveway when doing it. But I don't know if he changed his mind or what, but he wants to be on this side of the ditch for the entire run. So I don't know when they came out here and marked, but I just got here this morning and they marked. So this is the path of the electricity. They spray painted here. Now we're going through a bunch of crap that they're going to have to deal with. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but when I was, oh, I hear a woodpecker. Didn't see it, but I heard it. Tell you what, there's so many birds on this property, so many different birds we see. It's awesome. So I don't know what they're going to do with all this brush and crap in the way, if they're just going to use an excavator to move it and trench as needed. Sure, that's fine. This is the first pad mount or ground mount junction box, I guess you could say, because they can only run 500 feet at a time. So there has to be 2 of these junction boxes to get to 1250. Now when I brought them out here to request the change, you know, I'm really trying to get this change approved, so I'm sweet talking them, like I'll take out all the extra trees that are in the way, I'll grind the stumps, I'll give you a box bladed path, just please adopt this change. he's like, man, you ain't got to do all that. We'll take care of it. This is fine. Oh, okay. Sounds great. So first box is right here, and then we're going through the woods just a little bit on a little bit of an angle to pop out over there. I don't know why he didn't want to come this close to right here, probably due to the tree roots on this big tree. I don't know, but it's curious as to why he wants to go over there. It doesn't bother me either way, but there's the path going behind these two trees, two bigger trees anyway, and coming out right there. Going that way. Why not go this way? I don't know, but I guess he's gonna have to remove some of these smaller trees. That's fine. And then coming this way, now once again we are close to the ditch. And I know some of you may not care about all the very specifics here, but I really want to document as much as I possibly can for our own personal reference down the road. So we're still hugging up on the edge of the ditch, and then this high ground over here, we're still going through it all the way up there. Crossing the entrance to the perimeter trail going that way, continuing along this way. Now right about here, the driveway forks off that way, and when this was a four-wheeler trail, there was a big mud hole right here. So I believe that's the reason why there's a new four-wheeler trail going right here. So this is a straight shot in the direction we want to go. So we will continue this way, deviating from the road to what I believe is going to be the second junction box. Second junction box. Now what's all this? There's this marking, which I don't understand, and ace. Yeah, I don't know what any of this means, but this is where the second junction box is going to be. Right in front of my truck is the culvert, so this goes this way all the way through there. Now I don't think he would have taken the time to mark the path through here because it's quite obvious, but I want to see what he did at the termination spot. Yeah, I can see the flag where the termination spot is, and it's just to the left of these trees. Now I've flip-flopped on these trees a few times. The first little bit I was like, yeah, we'll just cut them, but after laying out where the shop pad's gonna go, I see that they're not in the way of falling onto the shop, so let's keep them up in the meantime, and I'll pull them down when I need the lumber. Well, I really like them being up, so I think the plan now is to just leave them up forever. If I need lumber, which is what these are originally going to be used for, then I can source it elsewhere. Okay, that's where it ends. Now from here, I think I mentioned this in the other video, it's like 120 feet to where we think the breaker panel will be in the house, and about 120 feet to where we think the breaker panel will be in the shop. Now where I'm standing is going to be a ground level or ground mount transformer, whatever that, there's a saying for that. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the transformer is going to be where I'm standing, and I'll have a meter on the shop and a meter on the house. Now, because it's a shop, technically I'm supposed to be charged a commercial rate for it for where I live, which is absolute nonsense. This is private property. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're doing business out of it. Doesn't matter if it's just a garage to park your car. If you have a separate meter that is a shop and it is not your house, it has to get commercial. It has to be in a commercial account or whatever. It makes no sense. Bureaucracy, whatever. So while we're living here, I was told that even the camper inside the shop, this will be a residential rate. But as soon as we get the meter set for the house over there, then this meter will be switched to a commercial rate, which she said shouldn't be too much more. She said it's sounds more scary than what it is. It's I believe she said it was the extra, the fee, the monthly fee that you have beyond or before your electric usage. That fee is $3 more per month, so that's not too bad. And then the cost, she said it was like 1 or 2 cents more per kilowatt hour. It's not going to be a crazy amount different, but that does kind of suck. Why would a personal garage on your own personal property, even if it's just used for personal uses, just parking a car in it, right? You just want to have a separate meter on this particular shop because you want to know how much electricity it uses, even if it's personal, non-commercial at all. You're forced to have a commercial rate. It's nonsense if you ask me, but it is what it is. With the reduction in cost of reducing this run by 250 feet, that allows us to justify hiring somebody with a forestry mulcher to mulch all of this. And again, I don't know if I said it or not. I'm probably repeating myself, but the clearing's over there, and that's where the driveway terminates. So on this chunk of woods over here, the driveway wraps around and terminates right into the clearing over there. I want to get a forestry mulcher in here to mulch every bit of this underbrush down to the large pine trees. So only the standing pines will be left. Very similar to that section over there where the electricity is going to terminate. And what that allowed me to do is be on the clearing and see a vehicle as it comes in way back at the culvert. So we'll be able to see them about 30 seconds before they actually get to the clearing. So I really like that for many reasons. We found somebody who gave us a day rate, and he said we could do about 4 acres in a day of this type of a clearing. Gave me a day rate, and I said, okay, well, let's do this. And he called me this morning. He's supposed to be up here, and I was supposed to come out here and meet him. Called me this morning and said, well, if it's just one day, we're gonna have to tack on a $500 delivery fee or logistics fee, or he called it something specific. So that kind of throws a wrench in things, because you hit me with an extreme price increase literally when you're supposed to be driving to the job. So I think I'm not even gonna bother with him anymore, and I'll find somebody else to do it. But that sucks, because that's what I was planning on doing today, was recording somebody mulching. My entire truck smells like Harbor Freight. So I bought a wide angle rear view mirror for the side-by-side. Opened it up in here and set it to the side a couple days ago. Now that it's been open and just sitting aside, my entire truck smells like Harbor Freight. I didn't get this at Harbor Freight, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. You go into Harbor Freight, you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Well, if it's raining, it's raining. If you've gone into Harbor Freight, you know what I'm talking about. That smell of shipping container grease. So the kit comes with several different thickness spacers. These are rubber spacers that go on the inside here for depending on the diameter of your pipe. This is a Bad Boy Bandit 550, and I don't know what size diameter this is, but I used the thinnest one of these washers, and there's a medium and then a thicker one. Thinnest one worked just fine here. So they bolt onto this, and you can position these arms any way you want. I have it pushed as far forward as I can, so that way when this, and you lock the angle of the mirror in place with these knobs on each side, but when this goes all the way up, there's me and my GoPro. As I'm sitting here, I can see the top corner of my box on this side, top corner of the box on this side, and of course if I just bend my head down a little bit, I got the entire top edge of the roof. So I don't know how much more I would want to be able to see. That covers everything. And I'm installing this because the mirrors that come with this machine are just trash. These things, they're not trash. I mean, they kind of work, but they're a goofy shape. They're flat and wide. And most often, I either want to push it down so I can see the side of my buggy right here so I don't back into a tree, or put it up to see the people behind me. It's never in a position that I want, because everything that I want to see is vertical and these are horizontal. Of course, you can adjust these. I think they came, as a matter of fact, they did come up here, and they're way up high. I thought at eye level would be better, but no, I just don't like the shape of this mirror at all. Just don't like it at all. So this is the end point of the original trail on our property. It goes into the neighboring property as well. Now, I think that all the traffic mainly goes this direction. There's a large timber tract next to us, but I do think that the easiest route for the community and where the majority of the people started from would be our property. There's no indication at all, hasn't been any indication at all from people going from that side on that property onto ours. This has been wet several times, and I've set up things a certain way a few times just to see if anyone's been messing with it, and there's no indication. And I don't think anyone's going to cross this, but I do want to add something a little bit extra. I'm going to put a couple more posts here. It's just a little bit more obvious that you are knowingly trespassing if you want to go around them. So a problem doesn't exist here, and I'm gonna little by little add to it to hopefully prevent any problems from existing right here. So that's honestly not gonna stop anybody. I mean, you can just drive around it, but it's gonna keep an honest person honest until I put more effort in here to actually put up a gate or something like that. The reason why I wanted to knock this out is, well, I've been wanting to put those there for a while, but this is the perimeter of the property from this flag to, I don't know if you can see it right in there. There's another flag and pole or whatever, but I want to cut the perimeter trail going this way. We're going to do that this weekend with a couple of my friends. And I kind of just want to scout out our path. I don't think we have to stay super close to the perimeter on this side, because right here looks like a natural path in, wide enough for all of our side-by-sides, and all of this looks low enough to easily knock out. Big tree right over there in between these two trees. This does, oh, spider webs, this does look like a good entrance. I just want to make sure it goes a little way. Now we're heading in the wrong direction. I still need to get back this way to the perimeter markers, but I think if we come up here, if I'm not mistaken, there was a little bit of a washout over here, but if we come back this way, mosey on a little bit that way, as we come up to, yeah, okay, so here's the washout. Oh, briar patch, ouchie, ouchie. All right, this washout irrigation ditch, whatever this is, begins right here. Right here, so I can go around this. Okay. Plan will be to go around this, get off there into the less dense stuff. Actually, this looks like it'll be easy trail to start, and stay off to that side. Okay, good deal. I mainly wanted to make sure we had a clear path in here to start, because we're going to cut the day after tomorrow. What is on this tree? This tree does not look like something found in nature. Some type of marking was on this tree. Huh. Something was on that tree at one time. I have no idea what it was. Every time I come out here to these woods, I see something new. Like off in the distance over there, it looks like there's a big monster nest of some kind. All right. I understand that certain rules and regulations are in place to protect people. I completely understand that. But from a personal standpoint, I'm more libertarian than anything. Just leave me alone and let me live my life, you know? As long as I'm not harming anybody else out here in the middle of nowhere, let me live my life. You know what I'm saying? You do you. You live the way you want to live. I have no concerns about that. As long as you're not harming other people. Let me do that out here, right? And I say that because this whole process of developing this property has just been so many unnecessary hoops to jump through that are just nonsense. There's a lot of rules and regulations that aren't even followed by the municipality here that it's just really annoying. Here's one, for example. The Mississippi Department of Health requires, if I'm not mistaken, a perk test, some type of test to come test your soil, to figure out the proper drainage that your soil has. So they recommend a certain size, either septic tank or waste treatment facility, or something that, another one that sprays out in the yard, something. And I get the reason why stuff like that is a thing. You know, Mississippi Department of Health, you don't want to have your neighbor's sewage draining right next to your water well. That's obvious, right? Now, I was told that that particular test is not necessary for anything larger than 2 acres. So a larger plot of land. So for this, it's 100 acres. We're right in the middle of it. We are nowhere near the next neighbor. So it doesn't really affect anybody else. As a matter of fact, one neighbor next to us that has a bajillion old tires thrown over the fence on our property that we recently found, I would say that's more polluting than any type of septic system that I will put in the middle of my property towards his direction, that direction. Anyway, so now we have to get a perk test done. You fill out a form online, spend $250 or something like that for them to come out and tell you that you have to put in the system that you're already going to put in anyway. Well, again, I thought I was exempt from that because we're greater than 2 acres and this is 100 acres. I just met with the septic person who I think I'm going to use to install a septic tank for this shop. Well, septic or waste treatment, whatever. And he said it'll be $3,800 for a 1,000 gallon septic tank installed, or $4,500 for a 1,200 gallon waste treatment facility. So either one would be fine for him to install on this property. But he said I need to go through the health department to determine which one, because that's who he has to do something or other with. And it's just a bunch of jumping through hoops for this to actually happen. And he was actually surprised that I didn't already have that done, because he said it's required in order to get electricity hookup, in order to get water hookup. Well, that's crazy. I just sent a text message to the guy installing electricity and he said, probably it's required. He wasn't for sure. Okay. Well, when I went and paid for it, they didn't ask for it. And then I text the guy who's going to install the water meter, and he said, yeah, it's required. They should have asked for that when I paid for the water meter to be installed. They didn't. So now the electric company and the water company both need a documentation required for me to pay, and I've already paid. And it's just a bunch of chaos and jumping around. It's a bunch of nonsense. I don't understand why the health department has to get involved in having a septic tank on such a rural property. This doesn't affect anybody else. Nowhere near here. It's just, I have a despise for the government. I despise the government. It's not a red versus blue, all of it, all of the government. Just leave me alone and let me live my life. It is so frustrating having to jump through unnecessary hoops just to establish life on property that I own out in the middle of nowhere. It's frustrating. It really is. What else is on my list? I also got the trash pickup started. So $14 a month, and they're going to deliver a can out by the road. So that's not too bad for trash pickup. I'm scatterbrained. My brain is in 16 different places at once, so it sounds like a wonderful time to stop and go reheat some leftovers for lunch.